Hey guys, so today we're doing the open cup technique. This one's pretty easy. You just get a cookie cutter and or some kind of cup with the bottom cut off, and then you're going to layer the paints in the cup, and then you just kind of slowly lift the cup and let the paint spread out. And you'll see me doing that here in just a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and layer all these paints in there, and I will let you guys watch, and I'll be back in just a moment. All right, so I've got the paints layered in there. All I'm gonna do is just start to pick up that cup just a little bit at a time, and you can see the paint is starting to spread out. You want to do this pretty slowly. And you can also, if you want to, I'm leaving it sort of in the center, but if you want to move it around, you can do that a little bit. I would just caution you, just don't do that too much because it can disturb the paint layers, and it may cause the paint to kind of mix together a little bit too much, and that's not what you want. So I'm going to continue layering the paint in there, and then you guys can just do that. Basically, what you want to do is just layer enough paint in there. You're going to have to do it several times, depending on how big your cookie cutter is. And once you get it, once you've done this several times and you've lifted it up, then you just lift the cookie cutter off of there completely, and then you can tilt the canvas, and you'll see me doing that here in just a moment. Right here, what had happened, I was getting some bubbles forming in there, so I just took the torch and just popped those bubbles. So that was what I was doing there. All right, so I'm continuing to layer some of the paints. And then one thing you guys want to be aware of is just with your paints, do not get colors that are opposite of each other on the color wheel. In this type of technique, the paints kind of mix together a little bit whenever you layer them. So if you get colors that are opposite on the color wheel, those are called complementary colors. And when they mix together, they actually create sort of like a neutral color, which would be like a brown or a grayish color. And unless you want a brown or a grayish color in your painting, which most people on these types of paintings, they want more colorful palettes. Unless you want that, then I would suggest choosing different colors. If you want to know more about color theory and color palettes and those kind of things, I do plan to make some videos in the future talking about that. That's something that if you guys want to do your own research on that, I would suggest doing that. There's some great artists that have classes and information about color theory out there. If you want some suggestions, just drop a comment or just let me know on one of my socials, and I will let you guys, I'll give you guys that information. All right, so now I have taken off the cookie cutter and I am ready to tilt. This one, it was really cool the way that the colors turned out. That aqua green color, it did sort of like it left almost like it looks like almost like a film over that magenta color, and it looks really cool. So I really like that. This one, it didn't take me very long before I got the composition that I wanted. So you'll see that here in just a moment. I pretty much just tilted a few times and then I'm done. And I will let you guys continue watching that. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, so I've pretty much finished this. I'm just going along the bottom of the canvas and just scraping the paint so that it does not pull the design over the side there. You guys have heard me say that probably a million times. But that's what you have to do. So once you do that, though, the only thing I would suggest doing is if you will check all the sides of your painting and just make sure that you don't have any white spots of the canvas showing through. Sometimes I have to kind of take the paint that drips down there onto the table and just kind of scoop it and let it drip down the sides where the paint didn't cover after I was tilting it. So that's one thing you can do. Or if you have any left, if you're doing it with like a dirty pour with a cup or something like that, you can just kind of pour it. But usually I just use the paint that's dripped down. So that's one thing you just have to kind of be careful of. You want the design to sort of match. You don't want it to look like you just slap some paint on there or anything like that. So one thing you can also do is once it's completely dry, you can go back and just kind of touch those areas up. And that's something that I also do occasionally. All right, so this one's done. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will be back here in a couple days with another video, and I really appreciate you guys watching these. So I will see you next time.